Have you noticed that your tank is emptying faster lately, even though you're driving the same as usual? It's not your imagination. Every time you hit the road, you could be wasting fuel without realizing it, and with it, throwing money away. We're not talking about a few pesos. The average driver los hundreds, even more than $1,000 a year, not because of the gas prices, but because driving habits that seem normal but are silent performance killers. Every unnecessary acceleration, every sudden stop, every minute with the engine running without moving is like opening a small leak in your wallet. But here comes the best part. You don't need to change your car or spend a penny to solve it. Just understand 7 golden rules that can transform your way of driving, save you money, protect your engine, and get the most out of every liter of fuel. And believe me, the last rule is the one that nobody applies, but it can make the difference between filling up your tank once a week or every 10 days. Stay until the end, because the last rule will make you see your gas consumption in a different light. Let's get started. Tip #7. Predictive driving. Driving with less gas isn't just a matter of choosing the right car or the right type of fuel. It's above all how you drive. And here's the key that few apply. Being a driver who predicts, not one who reacts. Why is this so important? Because if you're constantly reacting at the last minute, slamming on the brakes or accelerating hard to catch up, your engine is constantly working in limp home mode, burning gas like there's no tomorrow. Think about it this way. You're in traffic, you see a yellow light. What do? Many people floor the accelerator, hoping it will change quickly, or they brake hard when they're running out of time. But a good predictor already knows the light will turn red, so they ease the engine off in advance, reducing speed gradually, barely touching the brakes. By doing this, they avoid those peak fuel consumption spikes, which are the real gas drainers. Furthermore, this applies to any road situation: traffic, curves, hills, descents, intersections. There are always clues to anticipate what's coming. For example, if you see a car ahead slowing down, don't wait for it to brake suddenly. You start lifting your foot first. This way, inertia helps you, and you don't have to accelerate as much later to regain speed. This trick is about connecting your vision and instinct with the accelerator and brake pedals. Don't see it as a limitation, but rather as a bit of driving magic. You're saving energy because you're avoiding those quick, abrupt shifts that the engine doesn't want, and your wallet doesn't. And if you do this consistently, you'll see a dramatic difference in fuel consumption. Not only do you save money by using less gas, you're also protecting your engine, brakes, and transmission, which in the long run means fewer breakdowns and lower maintenance costs. So, it's not just saving, it's also a smart and responsible way of driving that ultimately benefits you in every way. Give your driving a makeover. Get that eagle eye, anticipate what's coming, and drive with a cool head and a sharp foot. Your gas will last longer, your ride will be smoother, and you'll have more money in your wallet. Who said saving on gas was complicated? With this simple trick, you'll become a master of the wheel and a friend to your tank. And now tell me, do you think anticipating traffic helps you save gas? Leave us your answer in the comments. We want to know how you managed to save every drop. But hang in there. If you thought that was it, you're wrong. There's so much more to share, so stick around. Let's move on to the next one. Tip #6. The big debate: windows down or air conditioning. This is one of those eternal debates among those who want to save money and get the most out of every drop of gas. For many, the idea is simple. If I keep the windows down, I prevent the air conditioning from consuming energy, and that way I save. But the reality isn't so black and white, because the wind that blows in when you open the windows can be a hidden enemy when it comes to saving fuel. When you're driving slowly, in the city, or in heavy traffic, rolling down the windows creates almost no additional drag on the engine. Under these conditions, using the air conditioning can actually make the engine work a little harder, because the A/C compressor uses engine power to cool the air. Therefore, if you're in the city, it's most efficient to roll down the windows and forget about the air conditioning, especially if you're making frequent stops or aren't going fast. However, things change radically on the highway or road, where speeds are higher. Why? Because above about 80 kilometers per hour, air resistance increases significantly, and opening the windows generates turbulence, which forces the engine to work harder to maintain that speed. It's like carrying an invisible parachute open on the sides of your car. In this situation, the air conditioning, although it consumes energy, makes your car have a more aerodynamic profile because the windows are closed and the wind doesn't rush into the cabin. Furthermore, modern air conditioning is more efficient than many people believe. Compressors are designed to consume as little energy as possible and maintain the temperature you choose, without having to set the temperature to maximum. If you set the air conditioning to a moderate temperature, the impact on fuel consumption is kept low, and the combination of closed windows and air conditioning on ends up saving you more gas than having the windows down. A practical example. Imagine you're driving at 100 kilometers per hour on the open road. If you roll down the windows, the engine has to work much harder, and that extra effort translates into unnecessary gas consumption. Conversely, if you keep the windows closed and turn the air conditioning on at 22 to 24 degrees, fuel consumption is generally lower because you reduce the engine's aerodynamic drag. An important detail is that opening the windows also creates noise inside the car, which can stress you out and make you drive less relaxed, increasing the likelihood of heavy braking and acceleration, another way to waste gas. On the other hand, with the windows closed and air conditioning, the ride is more comfortable and quieter, which also contributes to a smoother and more efficient drive. To summarize, the trick is to use both wisely. In the city and in slow traffic, roll down the windows. On the highway and at higher speeds, it's better to use air conditioning and keep the windows closed. This way, you'll achieve the best balance so your car doesn't suffer, your gas lasts longer, and you travel comfortably without heat exhaustion or annoying noises. Ready to try this trick on your next trip? I guarantee you'll feel the difference in your gas mileage and how your car feels when you drive smart. If you want more easy and effective tips to save gas and protect your wallet, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell. Don't miss any of our tips. Get ready. What follows will leave you even more surprised. Tip #5. Drive at low revs and save a lot of gas. Driving at low revs means avoiding revving the engine to high revs, where fuel consumption increases and wear accelerates. Think of this as driving a sensitive machine that responds best when you treat it gently and carefully. Revolutions per minute, RPM, indicate how many times the engine rotates completely every minute. When the engine is revving at high speeds, it's burning a lot of fuel to generate extra power, which is often not needed. The secret is knowing when to shift gears before the engine starts to roar or sound too loud, which is precisely when it's working harder and consuming fuel excessively. If you have a manual car, the trick is listening and feeling the engine to shift up at the right time. Shifting too late means the engine is working in a zone where fuel consumption is extremely high. Shifting too early can cause the engine to strain and make the car gasp, but every car has its ideal range, and that comes with practice and attention. In general, keeping the RPM between 1,500 and 2,500 for gasoline engines is ideal for most cars. In automatic cars, the system often attempts to control this, but if you notice your car revving too high, you can try driving modes like Eco or use manual transmissions if the vehicle allows it. This helps the engine use less gas and extend its life. Additionally, driving at low revs reduces stress on components like the transmission and clutch, which means less wear and tear and less money spent on repairs. It's not just about saving fuel, it's also about protecting the engine and all the parts that work together to keep your car running smoothly. An additional benefit is that by keeping the engine from revving too high, you also reduce polluting gas emissions because the engine is working in a more efficient and less aggressive zone. So, not only are you saving money, but you're also helping to protect the planet with a simple gesture. Can you imagine how much you could save on gas just by making a small change to your driving? Most drivers don't even realize they're over-accelerating and holding the revs high unnecessarily, and it's something that can be corrected with a little attention. A helpful tip is to combine this with a tachometer on your dashboard. When you see the RPM start to climb too high, it's time to shift. It also helps to avoid sudden acceleration or unreasonable throttle inputs and try to maintain a smooth, constant speed. Driving at low revs is more comfortable for you. The ride is quieter, less abrupt, and more relaxing. It feels as if the car is breathing more easily and responding more smoothly, and that also makes your driving more relaxed and less stressful. Start practicing this trick, observe it on your next drive, and you'll see that the reduction in gas consumption can be much greater than you expect. And wait, that's not all, so pay attention to this next trick. You won't believe it. Tip #4. Take advantage of downhill speeds to save gas. This trick is one of those little secrets that may seem simple, but makes a big difference when you learn how to use it properly. When you're going down a hill or an incline, your engine shouldn't be wasting gas like you would if you were climbing a mountain. It's a perfect time to give your tank a break and let gravity work. Many people, out of habit or ignorance, continue to press the accelerator even on downhill slopes, thinking it helps maintain control or that it's necessary to maintain speed. But in reality, if you drive your car well, you can take advantage of this inclination to save gas without compromising safety. How to do it? Here's the trick. When you start downhill, take your foot off the accelerator and allow the car to reduce speed using only inertia and, if necessary, engine braking by downshifting. In cars with manual transmissions, this is especially effective because you can use low gears to control your speed without having to press the brakes as hard or consume additional gas. In automatic cars, some modern models have modes that help you take advantage of engine braking on downhill slopes. Using this technique has several benefits. First, you minimize fuel consumption because the engine is practically at idle. Second, you protect your brakes, which tend to wear down significantly more when you don't use the engine brake and have to constantly brake on long or steep descents. In addition, your driving becomes smoother and safer because you avoid sudden braking that can surprise the cars behind you. An extra tip: always maintain a safe distance from the vehicle in front of you and don't downshift abruptly to avoid the car jerking or feeling unstable. This tip is for driving smart, not recklessly. Many people underestimate downhill slopes as opportunities for fuel saving, but believe me, if you start applying this to every hill you encounter, the gas savings quickly add up. It's a simple detail, but it adds up, and it also extends the life of your brakes and engine. So the next time you're on a hill, remember, ease off the accelerator, use the engine brake, and let gravity do its work. Your wallet and your car will thank you. Tip #3. Turn off the engine if you're not using it. Whether you're idling at a long stoplight, waiting for someone, or stuck in heavy traffic, leaving your engine running is a sure way to waste gas for no real benefit. Think about it. When the engine is on and the car is stopped, yes, the engine is still consuming gasoline to keep it running, and even if you don't notice it, that expense adds up quickly and takes a lot out of your pocket. The smartest thing to do is, if you know you'll be stopped for more than 10 seconds, turn off the engine. Beyond saving gas, this also reduces engine wear and emissions, which is good for everyone. Many drivers have the misconception that starting the engine repeatedly consumes a lot of fuel, but modern engines are designed to consume less gas when starting than when idling. So, if you're going to be stopped for a while, starting and stopping the engine several times is better than leaving the engine running. This is especially useful in heavy traffic or when you're waiting for someone on the street. Of course, don't turn your car off and on frantically, but do it when you're on a long stop. Additionally, some modern cars come with automatic start-stop systems that do all this for you, shutting off the engine when the car is stopped and restarting it as soon as you press the accelerator. But if your car doesn't have this, you can do it manually and save a significant amount of gas effortlessly. Another benefit of turning off the engine when not in use is that it reduces noise and pollution around you, which is beneficial to the environment and the comfort of those nearby. So, the next time you find yourself waiting for more than a few seconds, don't think twice. Turn off the engine and take the opportunity to breathe calmly, check your playlist, or simply disconnect for a moment. That way, without even realizing it, you'll be saving gas, taking care of your car, and helping the planet, a small gesture that makes a big difference. Tip #2. Clean and gap your spark plugs to make your engine run better and save gas. If you've ever wondered why your car sometimes struggles to start or feels like it's consuming more gas than usual, the culprit may be the spark plugs. Although they're small and almost unnoticeable, these parts play a huge role in your engine's performance. Spark plugs function like the engine's igniter, creating the spark that ignites the air-fuel mixture inside the cylinder to produce the combustion that powers your car. If these sparks aren't properly produced, whether because the plugs are dirty, contaminated, worn, or the gap between their electrodes isn't correct, the engine has to work harder, consuming more fuel and producing less power. Did you know that a dirty or improperly gapped spark plug can increase fuel consumption by up to 15%? And that's no joke when gas is expensive and every drop counts. Keeping spark plugs clean and gapped not only improves engine performance, but also prolongs the life of other parts, such as the ignition coils, which suffer when the plugs malfunction. It also helps the engine start easily, prevents unusual jerks, and reduces emissions. How do you know if your spark plugs need attention? If your engine struggles to start, makes strange noises, loses power, or you notice unexplained increases in fuel consumption, it may be time to check your spark plug. Also, if you drive in very dusty areas or in heavy traffic with frequent stops, maintenance should be more frequent. Cleaning involves removing the spark plugs and removing carbon and debris with a brush or special products that won't damage the parts. This helps ensure a strong and consistent spark. Calibration, on the other hand, involves adjusting the gap between the electrodes with a gauge or caliper, following the manufacturer's specifications, as an incorrect gap can cause the spark to fail or go out quickly. I don't recommend attempting adjustments without the proper tools or experience, as incorrect calibration can also cause problems. It's best to consult a trusted mechanic or a specialized workshop that will perform the service and ensure the spark's perfect condition. These regular checkups not only save gas, but also prevent major breakdowns that often cost much more money and inconvenience. This way, your car runs better, consumes less fuel, and the engine works with less stress. Remember, well-maintained spark plugs are like the heart of your engine, beating strongly and steadily, giving you optimal performance and a smoother, more economical ride. Well, we've reached the last trick on this short list. Pay close attention. This is the trick your car has been crying out for years. Tip Hasson: use the right engine lubricant and watch your fuel consumption. This is one of those tips that's worth its weight in gold. Engine oil not only lubricates the parts so they don't wear down or become muddy, but it also helps the engine run more efficiently and with less effort. Using the right lubricant is like giving your engine a balanced diet, not too fatty, not too lean, so it can perform at its best. Each engine has specifications regarding the type, viscosity, and quality of oil to use, and this is indicated in the vehicle's owner's manual. It's not just a matter of adding any old oil because it's cheap or because it's what I got at the store. Using the right oil ensures that the internal parts run smoothly, that there's less friction, and that the engine doesn't overheat. If you use an oil with the wrong viscosity or a poor quality product, the engine has to work harder to overcome this extra friction between its moving parts. And this, of course, increases fuel consumption because the engine tires more quickly. Therefore, changing your oil on time and using the recommended product that meets international standards is essential for engine efficiency. In addition, a good lubricant helps keep the engine's internal parts clean, preventing the buildup of deposits and sludge that can affect performance and, of course, fuel consumption. Think of it like the oil you use for cooking. If it's clean and good quality, everything tastes better and is healthier. If it's burnt or old, not even the best ingredient can save the dish. Another important advantage of the right lubricant is that it protects the engine from wear, which means your car's lifespan is extended and you'll avoid costly repairs that often result from internal damage that poor oil would have caused. Some oils have special additives that improve lubrication at low temperatures or under high pressures, characteristics that help the engine optimize its fuel consumption in different driving and climate conditions. Never neglect changing your oil at the recommended mileage. Even if your engine seems fine, old oil loses properties and no longer protects or lubricates as well. Changing your oil regularly is an investment that pays for itself in fuel savings and preventative maintenance. For those who use synthetic oil, there are even more benefits in efficiency and protection, especially if you drive a lot in the city or in demanding conditions. But every engine is different, and it's important to follow the technical recommendations to avoid mistakes. If you're unsure of what type of oil to use or when to change it, the best option is to ask a professional or check your vehicle's owner's manual. Don't be misled by myths or improvised advice that can cost you more in the long run. So remember, oil isn't just any liquid you put in your engine, it's the engine's life, keeping it smooth, clean, and efficient. Using the right lubricant is a habit that affects your car's fuel consumption and overall health. Give it this care, and you'll see how your gas lasts longer and your engine responds better. And this won't help if you make this mistake when starting your car.